So as you guys know, we've had our Tesla Model 3 for over a year now, and during that time, we've learned so much about this car. But what I would say is those first few days of owning the Model 3 were a bit confusing. And now with the new release of the Model Y here in Australia, there's lots of people that are going to be getting Teslas for the very first time. So I thought I would share what it felt like driving the car for those first few days and what we learnt in hindsight. And keep in mind, these aren't bad things, they're just worth mentioning because they'll help you ease into the car. Alright, so the first lesson we learnt was that there wasn't as many chargers as we were initially expecting. Thankfully, in the last year since we picked up our car, there's been a massive rollout of new chargers, so it's not as much of an issue as it was a year ago, but it's still really important to familiarize yourself with chargers in your area, in your state. So jump onto a website like PlugShare or go onto Tesla's website and look at the superchargers around. When we picked up our Model 3, Tesla gave it to us at 40%, which for two people that didn't really know what they were doing and having a long drive home, it created a bit of anxiety. But now that we know what we're doing, it's safe to say we have no range anxiety anymore. The other point is that some of the chargers can actually be quite hard to find. They might be buried at the back of a car park, they might be in an underground car park, and you don't always know exactly how to get to them because unless it's a Tesla supercharger, it's not going to really direct you to exactly where you need to park. All right, lesson number 2 is when it comes to the map inside your car, it's going to show you just Tesla chargers, and there's 2 types. So the red ones are your Tesla superchargers. They're great. They're the best option for charging. They're the easiest and fastest. You just plug in and the car does the rest. The other type of charger that shows up is the gray destination chargers. They're normally put in by businesses and strictly for customers to use only. So whether it's like hotels, wineries, restaurants, that sort of thing, you kind of need to be a customer in order to use these chargers. And that's not something we were aware of to begin with. Lesson number 3 is to try and use the navigation in the car as much as possible. What it's actually going to do is plan out any charging stops that you might need to take if you are going on a road trip. The more important thing that it's going to do though is when it comes to Tesla supercharging, it's going to precondition the battery, which will give you a faster rate of charge and be healthier for your battery. The other good thing about having the navigation on all the time is that it is Google Maps, and so if there's an accident or a traffic jam, it's going to redirect you pretty seamlessly. Lesson number 4 is that you actually have to pay a subscription for premium connectivity. Now, when you first pick up your car, it comes as a free trial, but as soon as that runs out, you'll notice that you don't have satellite view or live traffic view on your maps, that your Netflix and your YouTube and your music streaming isn't working, and that's because it's $10 a month for premium connectivity in your car. You can hotspot your phone's data into the Wi-Fi on the car, which will solve that problem, but you need to reconnect your phone every single time you get in the car, which is just not really. All right, lesson number 5 is the Regen Braking. Now, this is something that you'll just get used to the more and more you drive the car. I'd highly recommend that you have the Regen on that stronger setting right from day one. Just push yourself to get used to it because it is by far the most efficient way to drive the car, and also in the long run, I feel it's the most comfortable way to drive the car because it means that you get used to this one pedal driving, and the car will also hold itself when you come to a complete stop. You don't really need to use the brake at all. Number 6 is quite a big one. It's the touchscreen in the middle of your car, and the fact that everything is on that screen. That's going to take you a little bit of time, probably at least a week, to really start to get used to the way that it works. It's most noticeable and probably overwhelming when you're driving the car for that first week and you're kind of worried about taking your eyes off the road and using the touchscreen, and you'll find that you really miss just being able to have like a tactile button to use certain things like the aircon, for example, because the touchscreen requires your sight. But that being said, in the long run, once you get used to it, it's actually pretty amazing, and Tesla do software updates that enhance the way that you can use that screen. But even things like reading the speedometer on that touchscreen and having nothing in front of your steering wheel is just a really weird feeling. Number 7 is the mobile connector that hopefully comes standard with your Tesla. We always assumed that we would need to pay money for an electrician to come out and install a fast charger. But 1 year later, all we've ever used at home is that mobile connector and plugging it into a standard power point. It is the slowest way to charge your car, but unless you're doing 300 kilometers every day of driving, you'll probably find that most of the time you're just topping up overnight and you're leaving with a full battery the next day. Lastly is number 8. It's probably the most scary thing for a lot of new Tesla customers, and that's Autopilot. I would just say take your time with it, get to know it on quieter roads. Over time, you will start to build confidence in the system. Obviously, it is a driver assist system. That's quite hard to say. It's not going to do everything for you. You always need to be ready to take over, but it is our favorite feature in the car and we use it all the time. A few more things before we wrap up. We were initially not aware that with an LFP battery, so like the standard range Model 3 or the standard range Model Y, you can charge the car to 100%. Tesla actually recommend that you charge it to 100%. So for the first few months, we were only going to 80%, thinking that we were doing the battery some favors. But yeah, good to know if you've ordered a standard range Model Y, you'll be able to charge it up to 100%. The other thing is we didn't connect our car to our home Wi-Fi initially, so we weren't getting any software updates. So make sure to do that. Hopefully it prompts you now to join the home Wi-Fi. I'd also recommend that you take the time to read over the owner's manual for your car. You can find that on Tesla's website. I'd also recommend downloading all of the apps onto your phone that you're going to need. Obviously, the most important one is the Tesla app. You should already have that on your phone before you take delivery of your car. PlugShare is another really good one to have set up on your phone. A Better Route Planner is another good one that people like to use when they're planning road trips. Also download the third-party charging apps like EV and ChargeFox and actually set up accounts so that when it does come time to charge your car, the hard work's already done. Also have a scroll through some of the other videos I've done on my channel. The Tesla app is a good one to watch. I've done videos on premium connectivity, keyless entry, autopilot. There's a heap of them, so hopefully you find them useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We've just ticked over to 12,000 subscribers, so it's growing rapidly, and YouTube named me Creator on the Rise, which was pretty exciting. Anyway, stay tuned, more videos coming soon, and I'll catch you in the next one.